going to show you the 5 common mistakes people make when trying to fix a crack in the fishing kayak. The crack is probably in the most inopportune place. Why are you right there? That's going to be so hard to do, but I'm showing you how to do it. It's also somewhat annoying, being I paid a couple $1,000s for this kayak that actually has a crack in it. The first mistake people make is they think that all plastic is the same, and that's incorrect. If you just use any old plastic hoping it will bond to your kayak plastic, well, that's risky business. So let me break down the plastic most kayaks are made of, which is polyethylene. But not all polyethylene is the same. So you're gonna have your LDPE, which is your low density polyethylene, used for squeeze bottles, tubing, caps, etc. You're gonna have your HDPE, your high density polyethylene. This is gonna be used for your kayaks in most cases. But there is HDXLPE, which is your high density cross-linked polyethylene, also used in some kayaks. The main reason it's important to know what you're working with is because the melting point of each plastic is different. HDPE has a lower melting point than the cross-link poly. In fact, the melting point for the cross-link poly is really close to its burning point. So the good news is that most kayaks are made of this, which is HDPE, meaning the melting point is around 248 to 284 degrees. Here's another mistake people make when trying to fix a kayak crack is they try to just use any old plastic on their kayak. And the problem is, if you don't use the right plastic, it simply won't bond. So what I did is head over to the native website and look for welding sticks. That's what this is over here. This is what this kayak is made of. So it's going to bond. And these guys weren't that expensive, $9.99. Irritatingly $7.99 additional for shipping and handling, but nonetheless, match the plastic or you'll be sorry. Mistake number 2, a lot of guys will just start welding this thing, which is a problem. So you're gonna want to clean it as best as you can, and it's gonna be really hard to get down there in the crack, but use soap and some water. Or if you don't do this, if you skip this step, you'll simply be welding plastic on the dirt and it won't bond. Mistake number 3, I see a lot of people make this, go and hop in and start welding this thing. Do yourself a favor, get a 1/8" drill bit and drill 2 holes on the ends of the crack. This is a preventative measure that will keep this thing from spreading. Don't worry, because we're gonna fill in those cracks with those welding sticks I just told you about. See the end of the crack, first one's right here. Drill a hole. Stop that. And the other one's back here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna drill that one. Boom. Don't forget this step, fellas. Mistake number 4, I see a lot of people make those. Go ahead and jump in to start plastic welding. Well, I'm gonna help you overfix this thing. We're actually gonna provide some metal reinforcement in the plastic, similar to how rebar reinforces concrete. Let me show you how. All right, that's my plastic welding gun. Gonna open this guy up. Let me show you how it works. In this kit, you're gonna see little staples. When you pull them out, it's gonna look like that. And what you do is you stick this in the gun, stick it in the end, just like that. You can see, turn it on. As you can see, this thing is turning red, hot red. And then what you do is you stick it into plastic, like so, and let it go. As you can see this, when you're done, let it cool down a bit. Then you just snip these off. On, then you have this metal reinforcement in the plastic, so that's how we're going to suture our plastic together. I put my screwdriver in here, so it kind of lifted this up, and so it's nice and tight. So you don't want this big wide gap here if you can avoid it. But if you do have a wide gap, not a problem at all, because you'll be able to fill that with the welding stick. So let's go ahead and hop in. Make sure this gets red hot. There it goes. There, right there. Boom. One staple down. Alright, let me give you a close-up of what we're doing so far. As you can see, these are all down in the plastic, cooling off. Just working my way around the crack, down here to the next hole. This one's an awkward angle. I'm gonna get in there anyways. It's nice and hot. There we go. I've switched these long ways going down the back stretch here, so it still works. There we go. We're going in. Alright, now just a bunch of these little tines that I clip off that are super annoying because they're not in a very convenient location, but let's do that. Next, I have this heat welder with a spade on the end. This time I'm going to melt my welding sticks. So let's go ahead and I'm going to fill in all the plastic here. It's going to take a little while because this is just, it's a pain in the butt to get this done. So melt down your stick. Fill in the holes. Alright, as you can see, got that down in there on top. Don't worry about if it looks pretty rough, because what we're going to do next is going to reinforce this, and we'll make it look nice and pretty at the end. The fifth mistake people make is they stop here and call it good. Well, I'm going to give you an extra measure of reinforcement, kind of over fixing this guy, and that's going to be using some metal mesh. So let's cut this to size and get some plastic on this. Let me show you it's done. All right, as you can see, what I'm going to do is cut this, leave about an inch from the crack on both sides. And I'm going to cut that out, and we're going to place that in there, and I'm just going to let the metal mesh kind of go over top this little spacer slider here for the seat, because I need it. All right, so let me go ahead and mark this out with a marker, and then I'll cut it with a pair of scissors. Now that I got this piece of mesh kind of folded and cut out the excess so it isn't too high, we're going to heat up this mesh and adhere it to the side of the kayak all around. So let's go ahead and do that. It's going to take a little bit of time. Don't worry, have a little patience. Alright, as you can see, we took the mesh and pressed it into the side of the kayak, and so it's kind of part of the kayak now. What we'll do now is take our welding stick and we're going to fill it all over with a welding stick, and then we'll finish it off at the end, and we'll have ourselves a fixed kayak. Alright guys, it doesn't look pretty, but reinforced by metal staples, metal mesh, welding sticks. I'm not going to try to make it pretty because it's hidden down here underneath my seat. If you're wondering how this held up over time, please go ahead and ping me. I'll give you a real-time update. If you love kayak fishing, guys, I got hundreds of videos on the subject. Hit that sub. I'll keep them coming. Thanks. Bye.